What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 130.
Oh my God.
Woo!
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Holy cow.
I'm like, are we ever not going to be surprised?
I don't think so. No, I think
We
ev-
can be
ev-
happy and surprised.
like every week I forget what number we're on, and then you say it, and I'm like, oh my
Yeesh.
God, time.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, first of all, huge thank you to everyone who tunes in and watches. If you watch it live, you watch it later, awesome. Or if you just listen to it, also amazing. Thank you so much. As we keep going with this, it's awesome to see the interaction on your end. Even if we just see the numbers and you don't say anything, it's okay. We still love you.
We know that we have lurkers.
Yes.
We adore you. Shout out to that Anon who sent in the ask in my Tumblr ask box a while ago saying, I watch it and I love it. We love you too.
Aw, yay. Well, get into some introductions. Hello, I'm Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
And I just did another show with the Scare Guy, which is connected to the Con Guy, where we talked about the October and September now too,
Spooky
and
season.
apparently some August of spooky season activities. Thus this.
And I just like D&D.
Yes, I was like, there we go. Now I can see it. Yay.
Yep.
So if you're watching this live, join us over in the live chat. And if you're watching later, comment down below. We're going to be talking some anime news, talk about Frieren and other stuff that we're watching that we think you should check out. And looking over the live chat, we got Rab Adler says, greetings, programs.
Hello.
Greetings. Untitled on purpose. We got a wave.
Hello.
Rab also waves. And then Gigaderic says, greetings from the numb end of a bad weekend. Aw, hope it gets better.
Word. But hey, the weekend is over. We move on to the week. We keep going. Tomorrow's another day. It's useless platitudes sometimes, but it really is true. Like, we'll make it. We always do.
Yes.
Coming off a rough weekend myself, I feel you. So, like, we'll make it. We always do.
We bring you that Monday energy, and we hope that imbues you at any time and gives you that burst. Yeah.
We bring the chaos. We bring the chaos. We have fun.
There we go.
We have fun.
All right. Things we are excited about. So we get some quick news here of things we're excited about. New cast and characters have been revealed for Kinnikuman Perfect Origin arc. This episode 10 premieres internationally via Netflix on Sunday. That premiered yesterday.
All right.
So episode 10 is available. And there we go. Pony Cannon revealed the cast and new characters that will appear in the wrestling anime epic Kinnikuman, the Perfect Origin arc. Nemesis, Takeshi Kasu. I'm like, let me lean in closer to read my screen.
Happy Monday.
Kusao. Grim Reaper, Junichi Suwabe, Marvelous, Yoshihisa Kawahara, and more. I'll be like, I'm sorry for butchering any names. So go check out the newest episode. This episode 10 that premiered on Netflix on Sunday. So if you are unfamiliar with the series, you can go watch it over on Netflix.
And for those who maybe grew up watching Kids WB and Foxbox and whatnot, you might remember this being released years and years ago under the title Ultimate Muscle. So if you want, yep, exactly. So for those going, wait a minute, I remember that name. That's what we got here. So if you remember watching that, loving it, there's more, you guys. There's more. Keep going.
And the other thing, too, to let you all know, is follow us over on Twitter, NTATNB. So we'll post pictures and links if they are applicable to the different stuff we're talking about. So that one just has the poster for that release. But, if you want to check out the vibe of the visual, that's where you can go check it out.
All right. Speaking of upcoming shows and new releases, new Battle, Love, and Occult trailers released ahead of Dandadan's worldwide premiere. So for those of you who were not able to catch it in theaters this past weekend, it will be premiering, I believe. Yeah, Dandadan will be available worldwide on multiple platforms on October 3rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. PDT. For details on the release platform, check ADN, Crunchyroll, Hulu, Muse, and Netflix's website. I believe in English we're getting it on Netflix.
I was seeing some stuff
Was
for
it?
Netflix. I saw trailers. So if anybody else has other confirmation, because we haven't received a press release on it, but when I looked up trailers, it was and images, it was saying on Netflix.
Yeah.
But then I could have sworn I saw a trailer that was saying Crunchyroll. So I'm like, maybe both. But
It's possible that we're getting a cross-platform release, which would be buck wild in terms of licensing.
yeah.
But
So I'm
and
thinking Netflix.
it's also one of those things where one platform has the license for one country, another platform has the license for another country.
Right.
So, yeah, licensing amongst different countries gets it's not the same across the board.
Yeah.
So, yes, keep an eye out for these. We have 3 brand new trailers with English subtitles. They are on the Twitter called X account. So if you are looking to see these trailers, they are on anime dandadan en on Twitter and anime underscore dandadan underscore en on Instagram, as well as the official English website at anime-dandadan.com/en. So consistent branding across the board. Check out those trailers. Keep an eye out. Mark your calendars for October 3rd because and for those of you who were able to see it in theaters this past weekend or who saw the Anime NYC premiere, for 1, I'm jealous. For 2, let me know how it is. And for 3, you get to sit there and go, yes, waiting for the rest of us waiting for October 3rd to roll around.
Yes. And then speaking of coming up, another date in October, Crunchyroll's hit music anime sets out to conquer stage fright and rock it out, announcing the theatrical date for the recap film Bocchi the Rock Recap Part 1 and 2 in North America. And this was previously announced as a 2-part recap films, Bocchi the Rock Recap 1 and 2. So it comes to the big screen in one supersized film on October 6th for a limited 3-day run. So that's pretty cool of like get more content in one time period. I like that.
I would love an intermission between films. Not gonna lie.
That would be nice. That would be nice. So that's only in theaters on October 6th. And that will be distributed by Crunchyroll and Sony Pictures Entertainment. And if we have anybody who watches internationally, October 7th for United Kingdom, October 15th for France, and 17th for Australia. And so be up on the lookout for that, and also check your local theater to check those times.
Yes, and if you don't want to wait that long to see anime in theaters, a quick reminder that Trapezium is in theaters for one night only, presented by Crunchyroll this coming Wednesday, the 18th. So if that's a thing you're interested in, that is 2 days from now. So get your theaters, get your tickets, head to the theater, have a good time. Yes. Continuing with new things in October. We're sitting here midway through September and going, October? October?
Are we there? What?
Yes. For real. New things in October. New Dragon Ball Daima series arrives on Crunchyroll. Streaming begins on October 11th. Dragon Ball Daima episodic series to stream with subtitles on Crunchyroll this October. Based on a new story and character designs from creator Akira Toriyama, this original anime series from the Dragon Ball franchise commemorates the 40th anniversary of the manga's serialization. So, new Dragon Ball content, you guys. Like, I'm here for this. I'm excited. It's hard not to be excited. I am excited. So that's Crunchyroll subbed October 11th. Keep an eye out for that. Again, mark your calendars. We have 3 October dates at this point to mark your calendars for. So your October calendar is looking great for anime purposes.
Yes. And not to make us all panic that we're almost to December. Coming out in December. That's like, what? But this is one that we've talked about. You know, we're getting into holiday season, or you have end of the year birthdays. You can do pre-orders or, purchase it and then let them know in advance. Crunchyroll is releasing Tokyo Ghoul, the 10th anniversary complete series Blu-ray box set this December. This will be coming out on December 31st. So you could probably pre-order that, print out a little image, and gift that so you feel like you gave something if you want to do that. Also, the series we're covering, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, will be making its way to Blu-ray from Crunchyroll on December 17th. So the first season is going to be released in 2 separate parts, with the second arriving at a later date. The first part will include multiple art cards of the iconic characters. Ooh, nice. A couple other ones to be on the lookout for as well. Attack on Titan seasons 1 through 3 being released as separate complete series steel books. That'll be December 17th. Also, English dub for Sound Euphonium season 1. That will be on Blu-ray for the first time ever, along with the subtitled version, also on the 17th. And also coming out will be Dr. Stone New World Part 2 and Darling in the Franxx. So lots of ones to be on the lookout for, and we'll post pictures of that. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, these are always beautiful.
Very
These releases
cool. Yeah,
always
these are
have
great.
so much extra content, so much good stuff. So again, check the website, crunchyroll.com.
Yes.
Crunchyroll store, is it crunchyrollstore.com? Or is it crunchyroll.com/store? If you go to crunchyroll.com, there is a store icon up in the top, and you can click that as well.
It says Crunchyroll Store.
Okay.
Yes. So it is. Check out the full December home entertainment release calendar on there, but everything will be available to pre-order through the Crunchyroll store, along with many other ones. So be on the lookout for that.
Get your pre-orders in. Print that picture out for whomever you're gifting it to, or just for yourself. It's valid. And if you want to be straightforward, you can put the picture in a card and give it to the giftee. And if you want to be chaotic, you can put the picture in a card, put the card in a box, put a rock or a brick in the box, and then wrap it. Things that I have done and also witnessed. I've also witnessed the 8 layers of boxes and wrapping paper trick, but I can't condone that. That's too much. That's rude.
It's a lot.
But the rock is funny.
Also, Tokyo Ghoul being 10 years, Rab says 10 years turns to dust. Yes. I'm like, wow, I remember when Tokyo Ghoul came out, and that is wild.
Oh,
but I feel we're gonna have that.
If we tangent corner, I can do a big turn to dust story.
We have 2 episodes to cover. I appreciate it, but I'm like, let's get.
Nope, we're getting it. Okay.
Unless you really want to.
Up to you.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So at this point, 8 years ago, I worked in a high school, and I was the co-runner of the Japan Club, along with a teacher who'd been there a lot longer than I had. Well, at one point, the students decided, oh, we want to watch the Pokemon movie. We want to watch the first one. I'm like, all right, cool. You have a copy? Let's do it. Let's go. And because you can only fit so much into a 30-minute lunch break, they only showed the first bit, which, for those who remember, oh, this got added back in, is the whole bit with Mewtwo and the clones and the clone of the small child and the tragedy and that whole thing. So ended that, and then I kind of went, you kids want to hear something crazy? And they're like, yeah, tell us. I went to go see this in theaters when I was in 5th grade, and that entire part was cut out. And all these high school students going, what? Just blew their minds. And then also going, yeah, I was in 5th grade when this dropped. I'm watching this in a class with 14-year-olds, and they're calling me Miss Cullen. Oh my God. And that was 8 years ago. So, turn to dust.
You're like,
yep. It's just oh yeah, no, I remember that. I remember my mom taking me and my little brother to the theater, and she did not enjoy it, but we did.
Leave a comment down below. What is an anime that's been out for a while now, or what's something that you remember seeing when it first came out? And if you haven't, totally fine. If you jumped on a season later, I've definitely had that as well. Yeah. But it's definitely wild getting to some of those shows now that have been out for a long time and be like, I watched that when it first came out. And be like, that is wild.
It's
'Cause
that meme with, sure, Grandma, let's get you to bed.
well, just because, and then I was like, other quick tangent corner on the thing of because they were talking about Shangri-La Frontier on Twitter, and then you commented, and then because I tagged you, and
Yeah. You invited me to choose
I
violence
did.
on that
No, I
conversation. You
did.
truly did.
Yes, that's why I was like,
You're over here trying to mediate, and you're like,
no,
You
but
called me in. This is a targeted strike.
yes. But it was comparing SAO and Shangri-La Frontier, but I was gonna say I'm
SAO
like
could
one.
never.
They are very different. You know,
Mhm.
it's like chocolate cake. They're very different kinds of chocolate cakes out there. So it's still a cake, it's still chocolate, you know, but it's very different ways to make it. Anyway, the point was I remember when SAO came out and had been following along with that one as well as with Madoka Magica, and like it's wild to have followed along with those and been like, that was like 10 years ago. But
Like,
been
oh, this is
keeping
how
up
long
with
ago?
them pretty
Okay.
much, because that's the other thing too, is watching a show and then like falling off. Like Tokyo Ghoul, I did remember starting that, but I didn't keep up with it. But those other ones I have, so then you're just like, oh, what? But yeah, side note.
Well, and Madoka Magica is recursive at this point. It's not a
Yeah,
loop, it's a spiral.
I know. Yep. And
First
then
kid.
true.
Oh, I
True.
remember Dot Hack.
Yes.
Oh,
See,
that
that
was
was
high
one I
school.
knew, but I didn't get into it. But nice. Good. Excellent. Yeah.
Watched it in.
White chocolate.
No. One of them is 2-day-old grocery store chocolate cake,
Hey,
and the other one is one of those cakes made by the chocolate guy. All right? They are not the same.
we will talk about this at the end and other things to recommend, because I'll talk about it
Yes.
and we can talk about it more. But anyways,
I'm biased.
ooh, wait,
No
uh,
shade to anyone who likes
there we
SAO.
go.
Like, everyone is entitled to their own opinions.
Also, Entitled Purpose points out Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002. I remember when that came out too.
Mhm.
Woo.
Mhm.
Yep. Mhm.
And now
Yep.
we have a live action remake that looks cursed. Cursed.
I'm
Cursed.
slightly curious.
Cursed.
But anyways, we were then finishing the things because we were talking about our show. Because now we'll talk about this show we were talking about.
I ruined the segue. I regret
It's okay.
nothing.
I will be fully honest of like I am enjoying it, but I'm not hooked yet.
I'm hooked.
Mhm.
It's so different from what we normally cover that
Yeah.
I kind of spend it more vibing than I do really like I do for, say, Demon Slayer.
That's a good way to describe it. Because yeah, it's not that I don't like it, so nobody get it twisted. It's not that I don't like it or anything. It's just a very different flavor of show and a much slower, calmer paced show, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting change of pace.
And I mean, we skew shonen pretty hard on this show
A
in
little bit,
terms
yeah.
of what we prefer to cover. So this
It's a
is
little more on the
definitely
exciting side, but you know,
yeah.
there are other
It's
ones that are good.
this one, I think it's almost hard to talk about because there is a lot of depth and there's a lot of I want the whole series, or at least I want the halfway point, because I do want to go in and tear it apart and look at things. It's the I have an English degree and I'm trained to do this part of my brain, you know? But knowing
Fair.
that
No,
there's
we
that
know.
Oh
We
yeah,
know.
no, we're aware.
We're
We
very
are
aware that it's
fully
a
aware.
well-beloved show and people really like it, but it with any kind of show
Covering
that's
it
so
week
well
to
known.
week.
Yeah, covering it week to week. I'm glad we're doing 2 at a time.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
What is that
Part of me
thing
is like,
too?
bump it up to 3 maybe, and part of me is like, how long are our episodes on average here?
We
'Cause
could.
we have 4 separate stories to talk about
Yeah.
across the course of these 2 episodes, but I'm not sure how much there is to say about them. And again,
Yes.
this is where I wanna start cracking it open and getting into themes, because the fact that from episode to episode, like, okay, both of these stories took place pretty close to each other, and then it's a year before this next episode.
Yes.
I know.
Thank
And
you.
I know that this is you guys doing this,
And
which
thank
we
you.
encourage you to do.
Yes, thank you so
Spoiler free.
much. Yes.
Yeah.
You can all sit there and laugh at us.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
This is one where I just want to
Hmm.
talk about how this show treats time and mortality and
Mhm.
like the larger themes, but I also want the full text in front of me to be able to do it.
Mm.
Because for me, normally, like we have an episode with a hoedown, showdown, throwdown with a demon, and usually I'd be like, yes, let's go. And watching this, the most interesting part of this episode was just the 90-second explanation of, yeah, while you've been in stasis, humanity took that 80 years, broke your spell down to its component parts, and wove it into their magical theory and magical items. So your big, scary, terrifying, armor piercing sniper rifle of a spell is now super commonplace and doesn't matter anymore. Like, that's the sort of thing where I like, that is the interesting part to me. That is the, and she's so blasé about it. And
Yeah.
was very clear that humanity were the ones that took these 80 years and broke it down and went for it. So like there's so much I want to say about this, but I want more of the full text. I want to be able to have the whole story to cite my examples to, it's the English major in me.
That's fair. And yes, we do know about the crying. Rab says, I watch the exact same way you are with my meat space friend. We're legit hiding tears sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I fair. Well, I am liking that my prediction that we were talking about is that we're going to get some of these flashbacks. I'm liking how that's coming along.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool, great. I'm also liking some of the other random cute things thrown in of guessing it's her birthday. She's getting a gift.
Yes. Just watching it with my roommate, and my roommate called that.
Oh, yeah.
Like right away. Like, oh, it's for her. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, no, good point. Good point. Yeah, that's and
Yeah.
just the bar full of dessert connoisseurs, which I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's just these little teeny moments in this show that are so fun.
Also, gotta love the don't judge a book by its cover of the kind of rough and tough bar. And they're like, oh, let me tell you about our dessert menu.
It's like, no, we know the best dessert place in town. You want to go here. You want to do this. You want to order that. It's amazing.
I like this Gigger Toast. Yeah, it's kind of tag back in the 40s,
Yeah. And just the whole, and her harping on the, you really need to learn your theory. You really need to learn your magical history, and it being super relevant.
Yeah.
It's like, again, I appreciate this because there's also for the audience going, okay, all they could do was seal this demon 80 years ago. And now she's rocking up to it with her apprentice and going, we got this. Like, okay, what's changed? What's changed here? And the answer is a whole ass lot, as it turns out.
Yeah, I think they're really conveying that time, as you were saying, of a year of really how it's just a blink for her and not the apprentice. But I think their journey in going another time, I would hope would go faster because they've already done it once of, okay, how can we make this faster instead of taking 10 years to do? So,
I mean, it's still the same amount of distance and they're still walking.
But there is a difference between you've never done it versus, okay, and then we can skip these parts. We can, take this shortcut. So,
but also, how much has it changed in 80 years?
Probably that too.
Is the terrain different? Is there a rock slide that's cut off the path? Yeah. Did they build a bridge? Did they?
Yeah.
I think the watching this without subtitles because of the way that I'm doing things, because my options are either have it on English with English subtitles, which for Crunchyroll gives you the subtitles for opening, ending, and anytime there's text on screen, but not for what's being said, or doing it with hard of hearing subtitles, which only gives you what's being said and nothing else. So you pick one or the other. And I usually watch shows with subtitles on by default, regardless of what language I'm watching them in. So watching without subtitles gets a little interesting. But for me, the second episode watching where they're talking about, the great wizard Flommel, it was only when we had to pause it and back it up, and we paused on a map and I saw the name written down. We will forever go back to this Nicholas Flamel. Well, we just always will. Dude was like, he did print And then after he died, he got a reputation as a master alchemist. So, like the actual historical figure, he was real, but the alchemy came after he passed. So, I do kind of love that fantasy keeps coming back to this. We keep coming back to the same figures. We incorporate Leonardo da Vinci, we incorporate Nicholas Flamel, we incorporate whoever, and they really don't waste any time with, oh yeah, she was Friren's teacher way the heck back when. Which is how Frieren knows all of the, yeah, that one's real. Yeah, that one's not real. Yeah, whatever.
That was very cool. I thought that was entertaining.
I
Here
love that we
go.
just went for it.
Yep. Rab says she's finishing the side quests.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But just the fact that, oh yeah, I found the place that they call heaven. I found where on the planet souls go. And this is also, again,
Like, sure.
way back when people used to think that you could physically get to heaven, that it was part of the planet. The idea was floated at one point that the planet was like pear-shaped, and then the thin part up top was heaven. So the fact that this went for, yes, I found it, it's a physical location that you can travel to, and then going to, and in the however long that's passed since then, the Demon King took it over. There's something wild to be said for the Demon King built his castle on heaven. Like, okay, let's go.
I also like the shove of, hey, this is a way to go talk to your friend that you didn't express feelings for, possibly, or they had feelings for you, and go talk to the dead person.
Oh, Himmel definitely.
Himmel, yeah.
Oh, Himmel was down bad.
Oh, yeah.
From his point of view, it's a tragedy. Because it's like, yeah, I did the great big heroic thing, but the one thing I wanted I could never have. She never truly noticed me. Like, all right, bro. I hope you moved on at some point in your life, sir.
No, I wondered that. I'm like, did he get it? I'm like, no, I don't think so either.
I mean, episode 1, we got that, yeah, I kept that super cursed dragon horn in a drawer in my room because it was given to me by a friend. And just every flashback we have, it's like, oh, he's down bad. Oh, he is down so bad. And we already know she's never going to fucking notice. Like,
no. She is very oblivious. Now,
from this point of view, it is a tragedy.
We have met plenty of humans, but it's interesting too that we haven't met any other elves or much talk of other elves. Is she one of the last of her kind? I don't think so. But it is this interesting, because in other fantasy, we hear talk about them or we've encountered them. So it's like a unique approach on this one of, we know she is and everybody knows what she is, but we've not encountered anything else along the way or, you know, any other reference to other elves.
And like, I think we've seen 1 or 2 in the opening, but like,
yeah, actual encounters of people walking around, like, do they live in some area and keep to themselves? Like, even a line like that, like, oh wow, this elf is out and about and normally we don't see them often, like, I don't know, something like that. So kind of like, okay.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did, just because of the sheer difference in lifespans, making the approach to life so markedly different. And even like, we get some of this, it's, you know, it's only 10 more years. It's another blip on the radar, like you and I would know, but also we should probably search quickly. Fern doesn't like it when I take too long. And that idea of, oh, finally considering someone else's time.
Well, because like Delicious and Dungeon, you know, the elves were in some other place and they didn't really come to that spot. So,
this, very different from our usual fare. I am enjoying it. I just kind of want to be able to mainline it.
We could try doing 3 at a time. We'll see how
that might be a bit. I think if we try for 3 at a time, it'll be a problem. Like, I think that might be a bit much. We'll see. We'll see.
Leave a comment. Let us know of, like, do you want us to get through this, get a little more in there, or is this pace kind of nice? But there's a lot of content for this one. It's a long season.
Yeah.
So
you said 28 episodes, right?
I think it was like 26 or 28. So that's going to take us some time.
It will, depending on timing, it may well get us through until Solo Leveling comes back in January, which
Yes.
is a really short turnaround time for Solo Leveling. Like, man, that is a short time for a season to be done. Are
28
the animators
episodes.
okay? Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I still am curious on if there will be a second season because have we heard other further talk on that? I think it's not said yet.
If it's been announced, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything
I
yet.
don't think it was on my radar. I wouldn't be surprised. I would imagine that there is more to the manga that has not yet been adapted.
Mm,
And
that's
to my
very possible.
understanding, it did fairly well. And even at AX this past year, they were still heavily advertising it. So I think it's doing well for them.
Well,
Both
Giga Derek
manga and
says
anime.
we could do 3 episodes once and see how we feel about it. Fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the name of her friend of
Fern?
Nope. The
dwarf?
Yes.
Him, not Himmel. Heisen? Heisen? Something like that.
Eisen? It's Eisen.
I would say, yeah.
Eisen? Might be more like Eisen.
I just never good at names. Never good at names.
It's this dwarf and yep.
And the corrupt priest who, man, I'm trying to figure out what his role in the party is, aside from comedy. It just, on a functional level, you have your adventuring party. Everyone brings something different. What do you bring, sir? And usually any priest, cleric, paladin, anything that has a religious order associated is usually some form of white mage, some form of healer. We haven't really seen that.
We haven't seen him do anything.
Except drink.
Except
I'm just like, okay, what's your deal, sir?
Yeah, what do you bring to the table?
Tell me. I want to know.
Yes. I'm liking Fern and how she is continuing to, establish herself and, maybe question Frieren of like, hey, is this a good plan here? There's other characters I know we'll be meeting soon because they're in the theme song.
They're in the opening. It's like,
they're in the opening.
Give us more people. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what Frieren's relative age is, like not how long she's been around for, but where on the scale of elven maturity she is.
Right. Well, kind of like our half-foot in Delicious in Dungeon as well.
Chilchuk.
Like Chilchuk, thank you.
Yeah.
Like looks like a child, is an adult. So what is
looks like a child, has 3 daughters.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Gigadare. See, these are only kind of spoilers that we're okay with in terms of like, you will learn apart from the drinking. Yes, unless we ask.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
And cleric magic does things wizards don't. Okay.
Yeah. Again, that's your usual white mage domain.
Sort of medic and wards guy. Okay.
Fair.
Cool. Because I think for the trailer for next week or next one, Stark is coming up, which is our redheaded character that I'm like, oh, that's in the theme song. Yes. Yeah. And
I'm just flying blind. I'm just rolling with whatever we get.
Yes. I don't know. Is there anything else that I agree with you? Of like, I need the more meat and potatoes too, or longer to really.
I mean, the whole, aside from showing us more of her relationship with Fern, the whole first half of episode 4 was just. Again, it was more looking at Frieren, looking at her relationship to things, and she's not.
She cannot take care of herself.
I mean, not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. I feel you.
Yeah.
Like as a late riser who was woken up at 5 a.m. by her cat today.
Ooh.
I love her so much. Ooh. I love her so much.
The sunrise. It's not necessarily the experience, but who you get to share it with that can really make moments magical.
Exactly.
And that's a really nice lesson and very cute. And for real life, very applicable as well.
You can get your enjoyment from an experience, not from your own take on it, but from being
Mhm,
around people
mhm.
who are absolutely loving it.
Yeah. I think that's a good lesson for her because I feel she has like it's one of those. I'm curious if her disconnect, if Friren's disconnect is because she's an elf. Is it her? Does she not know how to connect with? Like, is she just a little more oblivious? You know, because it does seem like slowing down and hanging out with humans is making her enjoy things. But that is sometimes, think about it more, I guess that is how some elves are portrayed, as a little more aloof and not necessarily really getting in the joys, ups and downs of what humanity deals with. So
Yeah,
there's that.
I think the answer to that is yes to all.
Kikidara goes, "You're all gonna get a whole beef stew, not just meat and potatoes." All right,
Good.
thank you.
Good. Let's go.
I know. You all can laugh at later of our wild thoughts and enjoy that. Please do.
But like I also do love just her being somewhat manipulated into getting an apprentice and then going on a journey to talk to Himmel's ghost. Like they're like everyone else is kind of looking at her and going, "All right, time to work on this one."
Yep. They
Just
got to make her want to do it for her own reasons to get your own goals done. Yeah. I was like, "Ooh,
like
that's
and even that Flammel knew, like, okay, she's gonna regret this at some point, and I will have this waiting here for her when she does. It's like,
mhm."
okay, literally everyone around you knows. Everyone knows.
So this sounds like it's a bit of a her thing.
There,
Less of
God,
just an elf thing. Yeah.
there's an old Game Grumps joke that's just even demons know. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's applicable here, but like that's where the brain is going. Even demons know.
Yeah. If there's other moments that happen in episodes 1, 2, 3, or 4, let us know your thoughts down below or bigger things that stood out to you. I think we're getting our feet wet still, getting
Yeah.
these little pieces,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see where it goes.
It's a
Yeah,
slow burn, but that's not a bad thing.
yeah, no, it's just interesting to cover on this kind of a show. Of like,
Yeah.
yes, okay, but yeah. All right. So then we will continue. We are taking a pause next week due to
Yes.
travel. So we'll be back the following.
Mhm.
Uh, be sure to check out our NTATNB to be up to date on stuff. And let's recommend some other stuff to check out in the meanwhile. What was it? I watched, I'm like, where did my, there we go.
You watched Shangri-La Frontier.
I did. I'm gonna hold that thought though. But I watched The Watchers as well. That's the
Real quick.
mm,
I just got a good look at the pillows behind you,
you
and the
like
fact that
it?
you have beloved right above a skeleton posing like one of your French girls. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
That was on purpose. I
Good.
placed it. I'm like, so you could see them as well.
Good. Perfect.
Uh,
Excellent. Good work.
all right, thank you. I was also since last week. There we go. Because I write stuff down. Because otherwise I will forget. Okay, yeah, I watched The Watchers, and what is her name? It's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. It's her
Right.
directorial debut, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I don't want to just name someone. Ishana Night Shyamalan. So the thing I like about it, though, speaking of different pace, this is very much a different kind of pace horror movie. There are elements that are spooky. There's some interesting lore that they build in this. It is, I mean, sure, there's some twists like her dad does too in movies, but not quite the same. And I in the end was like, I really like that. Of like, that was a solid movie.
All right.
Yeah, so there we go. You watched Watchers. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
did. Right? I watched The Watchers. It is
Smart
on,
ass.
I'm blanking on what service it's on. It's on streaming. But yeah, it's if you want something spooky and a little more just kind of a different flavor, I thought I would recommend it as one to check out. And then I am very behind, but I finally saw The Batman.
Oh,
I
that's a good one.
It was good. I mean, I know people said it's good, but it is that thing where you're like, but definitely enjoyed that. Finished up Supercell. That's on Netflix. They are getting a season 2, so I'm excited. It ends well. I'm excited to see where it goes. And then the other exciting one for any Wynonna Earp fan, Wynonna Earp Vengeance came out on Tubi. If you're a fan of the show, it is a good continuation of the everything we know and love. And if you're new to it, don't worry. They frame it so that you could be a total newbie, go into it, and then maybe go watch more if you're liking that world. All right, so now Shangri-La Frontier. So no, I was liking it, and I would say it's a very different flavor than other go into the game ones because it is nice that this one is very modern of I go into my game, I get out of my game, I have to go do regular errands, I still have to go to school or summer break.
It's not an isekai. They're not stuck in the game.
I did like that it is just a straight I'm playing the game and it's about a player who plays trash games and now he's playing a good game. So I was like, yes, okay, I liking that. It is very funny. It is very easy to go quickly through it as a show. Because you are just like, okay, cool, what's happening next? Let's keep going of that world. I like the just general style of the game that they're playing. That's like, oh, okay, that does look like it'd be fun. I like that our guy is cocky, but gets called out on it a bit too. Like, he's not perfect.
Yeah.
He is very good at what he does because of certain skills, but he's not perfect. Yeah.
It's like he had to build up ridiculous skills to work around the shoddy programming of bad games. And those reflexes are working for him in a good game, as well as the knowledge of how these games are put together and how they work. Like, he has to be able to break them down to the bare bones to understand where things are broken to be able to work around them.
Yeah.
So understanding how that architecture works and not having to break things down or compensate for lag issues, poor AI, anything like that. It's like, oh yeah, he's so used to working at a disadvantage that it gives him an advantage in a game that actually works.
Yes. And yeah, I think it's one of those that if you want a very fun with action and comedy, but not an isekai.
Yeah.
Which no offense to isekais, but I'm like, oh, there's so many.
It's nice to have an anime about gaming that is not stuck in the game.
Yes, and very meta and honest about some of the gaming things, and it's like, oh yeah, that totally is what it is. But then I like that they explain some things too, that in case you were like, I don't know anything, they're like, this is what this activity is. Like, they'll have the text and explain it. So I think that's really nice too, of digestible for new folks who are like, I've played games and I play some, but I'm not in it, and not that I've had to have any totally explained, but it's been entertaining of like it's a fun one, which is nice. It's okay.
And the OPs are bangers.
Yes, they are really good. The opening and both openings, I was like, these are very aggressive openers. But
they're so good. It took me a minute, then I'm like, all right, on to Spotify. Let's go.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I do like it. Oh, Gigadare goes, full offense, isekai. The genre deserves it. I think it's more,
it suffered from bloat, and it suffered from some tropes that got very popular and weren't necessarily handled skillfully.
Yeah.
That's just it. It's just, people say isekai in the same way that people were saying fantasy in the 90s, Like, there's stuff in it that's not great, but there's stuff that's not great in the crime genre. There's stuff that's not great in horror. There's so much stuff that's not great in horror. But you can say that about literally anything. There's rom-coms that suck. There's, every genre has its tropes that are popular but handled poorly or overdone or not well received or whatever. Everyone has its ash can films and it's gutter trash and it's stuff that, like, why would you ever watch this? Who made this? And every genre also has its 3-movie adaptation of Lord of the Rings, Like, there's some good in them and there's some bad in them. And if you want to hang out in the dumpster, that's perfectly fine, but you can't say that the dumpster is all there is to it. For any genre, for any medium.
Well, it's also akin to the superhero fatigue that some people are
Oh
saying,
yeah.
but there are so many other kinds of superhero movies that exist
Mhm.
too, besides our main Hollywood ones too.
Yeah.
So same thing, isekai. There's just so many that were overload, and yes, there are other ones you can get, and if you love that, fantastic. I don't have superhero fatigue, I'm good, but I kind of get it when some people are like, oh, there's just so many. So I feel isekai,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, can we just have it where it's like, oh no, they're playing the game because they want to play the game, they like the game is good. There might be some other thingies going on, which I'm like getting all super suspicious based on other shows I watch. I'm like, we're seeing some weird control room, I'm suspicious. Is that founded?
I always love when, and this has also come from me watching Bofuri. Bofuri is not afraid to pop back to the programmers watching things go down in the game and having them go,
Mm,
"Oh my god, what happened?" But the difference is the game in Bofuri, she keeps stumbling onto like weird little hacks and weird little
mm,
things where you would have to think sideways and not be familiar with video games to figure these things out. And it's her
right.
first ever video game. So of course
Hmm.
she's running into these things on accident because she's not thinking like a gamer. And
Ah.
so we keep cutting back to the programmers going, "How did they manage that? That was supposed to be unbeatable. She did what?" And it's hilarious. But it's also, yeah, the game is not infallible. So
Mhm.
cutting back to the programmers and being like, "Oh yeah, they're human. Oh yeah, they're trying to make things work. Oh yeah, they don't always get along." It's like, yeah, it's just another aspect of the story.
Also, the other thing about Shangri-La Frontier that's cool and refreshing is people knowing each other outside a game, and like maybe they only met online and maybe they've learned about them, and that all types of people play, that feels very real. So I'm liking how real it feels as a show, that like this is refreshing of like, oh okay, like especially because WoW's come back too, like
Oh yeah.
it was very popular and it kind of had a resurgence recently, or re-release, and so I'm like, yeah, this feels like people are, they message each other, email each other, it's time to
Yeah.
go play.
Yeah.
Where are you? And that's really cool, and especially if they live in different areas or different countries, that's the way that you could hang out together. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I dig it.
And also this is usually, speaking of tropes and execution, this is usually something that drives me straight up the wall and back down again. But
Hmm.
I love it in Shangri-La Frontier. Can we talk about the poor girl who's got a crush on him?
Oh,
Can we just
it's adorable, but I
I
wonder
love
how
her
long this
so
is going
much.
on for. Because I was like,
It's
sweetie,
probably been going on for a while because
I
she
bet.
is not like we got that scene of her just psyching herself up to talk to him, and then she goes to do
Yes.
it, and another one of his friends walked in, and
Yep.
she just, "Oh."
Yeah, I'm
And
about
just she and her being
she's
super
precious.
powerful and
Yes.
disguised in game.
Yep.
So, the dynamics are amazing. It's so funny. I
It
love
is
it.
very and it's one of those that's nice for her because I'm about 12 episodes in. I like her trope of I have a crush slash I'm a stalker in a very cute, innocent way,
Yeah.
but
"I'll wait for
it
him at this
doesn't.
town and then we can play together." And he just skips the town entirely, and she's like,
Yes.
"Um."
But we're getting those in small sprinkles, like, we're not
Yeah.
dwelling on the, like, "Oh my gosh, he talked to me."
And
We'll
she's
cut to
not
another part. Yeah.
and she's not, like, overstepping any bounds.
No, she's
She's
not being a
not like
weirdo. Mm.
Yeah, because there
Yeah.
again, some of this trope that drives me crazy is like, "No, this is not okay. Guys, this is
Mm.
not okay." But no, she's just being adorably awkward about it.
Just as a cute crush, and yeah, she doesn't know how to talk to somebody that she likes.
I
I
don't
saw
think
this
you've
one.
gotten to the bit yet where she tries to write him a letter.
Oh, I did,
Oh,
and
you
she the
did? You got
pile
the
is
letter.
I like I talked to him in public, and it's, like, just a hello, goodbye, and she's like, "I spoke to him." As a super duper, probably very over the top extrovert. I'm like, "What?"
It's so
No,
funny,
I
though.
know, it's very funny,
It's
but
so
it
good.
is
I
funny
love it.
watching it from an extrovert's opinion, like,
Oh, yeah.
just say something.
Oh,
Just go
yeah.
talk.
But
I
also
saw
even
this
just, like
prayer.
oh, Beaufry or why the game needs beta tester. Beaufry is a very sweet, very adorable anime if you want some really good sakuga and also just to have some of the most adorable interactions you've ever seen in your life. It is very much cute girls doing cute stuff. The genre meets video game anime, the genre, and it is
Okay.
I enjoy it quite a bit. It's a vibe. It's very sweet.
Cute.
But yeah, part of the fun again is that the video game in Beaufry is like 90% of the way there, but because she does not think like a game, like she picked up the game because her friend is really into it and wants her to play with her. And then her friend gets grounded for a week over her grades. So it's like, go ahead, start without me. It's fine. So she has no idea what she's doing when she puts together her character build. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. My SAO abridged fam. I gotcha. Yeah, so she has no idea what she's doing when she builds her character. She has no idea what she's doing when she gets started on this game. And because of that, she makes mistakes that people who aren't familiar with gaming conventions would make, but she also finds exploits that people who are familiar with games exactly. So she falls sideways into a lot of these different things, but also she's a creative thinker in her own right. And so she's very good at, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. Let me see if I can combine them. Let's find out what happens. And it's another game-breaking exploit that people hadn't considered. So
which is similar in Shangri-La Frontier of he's so used to doing awful, shitty games, does very different paths and experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like it's the other end of the bell curve for Beaufry. It's knows too much on Sunraku's end and knows nothing on Beaufry's end. And both of them are the extremes that people often can't patch out or can't patch things quickly enough because what do you mean she took this unique skill and used it like that? What? It's a very fun show. It's very cute, very funny. Highly recommend. Really good sub and dub. 2 seasons so far, I believe, on Crunchyroll.
I feel we've done some other recommendations and things along the way, but do you have any additional ones before we start wrapping it up?
I have done nothing new this week. I was not able to keep my movie plans because life occurs. So I have been watching a lot of YouTube, and there's a channel duo called Outside Xbox and Outside Extra. And it's, if you ever watched the Watch Mojo lists back in the day, it's that, but better. Okay. For one, they're all British, so it's more fun to listen to. Let's be real. And for another, like, the writing is very tight, very clever. They know what they're talking about. Like, it's all video game focused, but it's all like 7 times you screwed yourself over without knowing, or 7 extra hard boss fights, or 7 times the game would not let you lose. Like, it's always lists of 7, but they're fun. I recommend it. It's a good time. So yeah, that's Outside Xbox and Outside Extra.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who's joining the live chat. I'm like, just because you're very enthusiastic about it, it says Wish for Mercury is still right there, being perfect.
Hey, look, when my brain is not working, I don't want to watch something with a plot. It's also why I do cooking shows. Hulu re-upped the licenses for a bunch of seasons of Cutthroat Kitchen I haven't seen yet. So that's also where I am, watching Alton Brown be the most chaotic, evil person I've ever seen in my life. It's a good time.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 130. If you join us live, awesome. And if you're watching later, awesome. Comment down below. Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on Silver Screams on YouTube, a horror channel I do with my roommate that is seasonally appropriate now. At some point when we finish the game and our second requisite playthrough, we will be sitting down and talking at length about Alan Wake and Control on that channel. But not yet, because we still got to finish the first playthrough, and then also do New Game Plus to get the actual ending, evidently. Things I've learned.
And you all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. As I said earlier, just popped on a podcast with the Scare Guy talking about primarily Southern California haunt attractions, so theme parks or corn mazes, pumpkin patches, that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, go check out the Scare Guy on YouTube. And then all across social media, same username for myself. I don't necessarily have anything super specific, but make sure you're following us here on the Fanversation YouTube channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And then don't forget to follow us over on Twitter at the NTATNB. And just say hello over there as well. And again, we'll be off next week. So then we'll be back on... I'm like, not the 18th, back the 30th. So we'll be ending out the month. Woo, that'll be really for October.
You'll truly be into spoopy season at that point.
Yes, my goodness. Well, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Enjoy your 21st night